The first and most vital mark of a smart woman is that she anchors her mind in truth. In a time when opinions are loud and truth is quiet, the smart woman seeks not just knowledge, but truth. There's a difference. Knowledge can puff up, but truth sets you free. We are living in a culture where information is everywhere, scrolling across screens, streaming into our homes, echoing through conversations, and yet wisdom has become rare. Smart women don't chase trends, they chase truth. Their thoughts are not tossed about by the latest headlines or shifting ideologies. They are rooted, they are grounded, they are anchored in something eternal. There is a battle for the mind today, and smart women know it. They guard their thoughts like a soldier guards a gate. They don't let just anything walk into their minds and set up camp. Why? Because what occupies your mind will eventually shape your life. A woman who allows the world to dictate her thinking will soon lose sight of who she really is. But the smart woman turns to something higher, something unchanging. She turns to God's Word. She finds her identity, her value, and her purpose not in what others say about her, but in what her Creator has already spoken. Truth isn't trendy. It isn't always easy. Sometimes it convicts. Sometimes it cuts. But the smart woman knows that a painful truth is better than a comforting lie. She would rather be challenged by truth than coddled by falsehood. And when the world shouts, follow your heart, the smart woman whispers, lead your heart with truth. She knows the heart can be deceptive, but the Word of God never changes. It is a lamp to her feet and a light to her path. A smart woman disciplines her thoughts. She doesn't allow anxiety to run wild through her mind. She doesn't dwell on bitterness or rehearse fear. She takes every thought captive and makes it obedient to what is right. She doesn't just feel her way through life. She thinks. And she doesn't just think any thought. She thinks true thoughts. She fills her mind with what is noble, pure, lovely, and admirable. She refuses to entertain lies, even when those lies are wrapped in compliments or social acceptance. When others seek the approval of man, the smart woman seeks the approval of God. When others bend to pressure, she stands on principle. She understands that her mind is not just a mental battlefield, it is a spiritual battleground. And truth is her greatest weapon. She doesn't depend on motivational slogans or hollow affirmations. She feeds on something richer, deeper, more powerful, the living, active word of truth. This woman doesn't wait for the world to define her. She has already been defined. She is not easily swayed because she has been deeply rooted. The winds of opinion may blow, but she is not moved. The storms of life may rage, but she stands tall, not because she's strong in herself, but because she has planted herself beside living waters. She has built her thoughts, her beliefs, and her decisions on the solid rock of truth. She recognizes that smart thinking isn't about sounding clever or appearing wise in the eyes of others. It's about aligning your mind with what is right, holy, and eternal. It's about seeing clearly when others are confused, standing firm when others fall, and speaking truth when others stay silent. There is no doubt that emotion is a powerful force. It can move us to action, stir compassion, and inspire courage. But unchecked emotion without direction, can also derail us. It can cloud judgment, distort truth, and lead us down paths we were never meant to walk. A smart woman understands this. She is not emotionless, far from it. She feels deeply. She carries burdens. She loves fiercely. But she has learned not to let emotion drive the car. Emotion may ride along, but it does not steer the wheel. Vision does. Vision is what gives her clarity in chaos. While others may be swept away by the waves of reaction, she stands firm on the shoreline of purpose. Vision gives her direction. Emotion may say, give up, but vision says, keep going. Emotion may scream, you're not enough, but vision reminds her, you were created for this. She listens to her heart, yes, but she leads her heart with the truth she knows. She lets God's promises shape her focus. She keeps her eyes fixed on what is unseen, not just what is felt in the moment. In a world that celebrates impulse and instant gratification, smart women move differently. They don't just react, they respond. They don't let feelings write their future. They let faith do that. Their decisions are not based on what feels good now, but on what will produce fruit later. They understand that vision demands sacrifice. It means sometimes saying no to what's easy so they can say yes to what's eternal. There is a kind of strength in this that the world rarely talks about. It's not the loud, showy kind of strength. It's quiet. It's steadfast. It's the strength of a woman who gets up and keeps going, even when everything in her feels like quitting. She may cry, but she keeps building. She may feel fear, but she keeps walking. Her emotions are real, but they do not rule her. Her vision has taught her discipline. It has taught her to delay gratification, to trust in timing, and to believe that what is coming is greater than what is now. She has learned the danger of letting a moment of emotion destroy what took years to build. She knows that temporary feelings can sabotage permanent blessings, so she steps back, she breathes, she prays, and then she moves, not out of panic, but out of purpose. The smart woman is not impulsive, she is intentional. She can be passionate without being erratic. She can be expressive without being unstable. She knows how to feel without falling apart. She's not ruled by fear, envy, or comparison, because her vision keeps her grounded. She doesn't need to compete because she knows her lane. She doesn't need to be everywhere because she knows where she's going. Emotion might tempt her to veer off course, but vision keeps her aligned. And vision isn't just about goals or ambition, it's about calling. A smart woman lives with a sense of divine direction. She sees beyond the surface. She sees with spiritual eyes. While others look at what is, she looks at what could be. While others are overwhelmed by what they feel, she is anchored in what she knows, that she was born for such a time as this. The world is full of consumers, people who take in, absorb, demand, and expect. But the smart woman is not content to merely consume what others create. She is a builder. She doesn't wait for opportunities to land in her lap. She creates them. She doesn't only admire what others have done. She contributes something of her own. She understands that her hands, her mind, her voice, they are tools, not ornaments. She builds because she has something within her that refuses to remain dormant. She sees potential where others see problems. She plants when others only pick. She labors when others lounge. The smart woman is not idle. She is industrious, intentional, and inspired. This kind of woman builds her house, not just in the physical sense, but in every realm of her life. She builds her home by speaking peace into chaos, by praying over her children, by honoring her marriage, or by gracefully managing her singleness. She doesn't tear down with criticism or neglect. She builds up with encouragement and discernment. Proverbs tells us, the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands the foolish one tears hers down. She chooses wisdom over impulse. She chooses effort over ease. But her building doesn't stop at home. The smart woman builds others. She speaks life into people around her. She doesn't hoard knowledge, she shares it. She mentors, she listens, she affirms. She's not threatened by another woman's success because she's too busy laying bricks of her own. She knows that building isn't a competition, it's a collaboration. She lifts others as she climbs, and she celebrates growth wherever it's found. She builds herself too. She does not wait for others to develop her. She takes responsibility for her growth. She reads, she studies, she prays, she stretches her capacity, she pushes through discomfort. She invests in her spiritual life, her emotional health, and her mental discipline. She knows that a strong woman is built in secret, not in spotlight. What people admire publicly is the result of what she built privately in moments of discipline, sacrifice, and surrender. In her career, her ministry, or her daily calling, she doesn't settle for passivity, she takes initiative. She sees problems and becomes part of the solution. She sees brokenness and asks, how can I help rebuild? She doesn't just point out what's wrong, she steps in to make things right. Whether she's running a business, leading a team, volunteering in her church, or raising a family, the smart woman brings structure, purpose, and grace into everything she touches. She is also careful about what she consumes. She knows that consumption without discernment can lead to spiritual and emotional clutter. So she filters what she allows into her mind and heart. She consumes to be equipped, not entertain. She listens to grow, not to gossip. She reads to become wise, not just to pass time. Everything she takes in is examined through the lens of purpose. Building requires patience. It requires consistency. It requires sacrifice. The smart woman knows that what is built well will stand through storms. She is not looking for shortcuts or applause. She is focused on legacy. She's laying foundations that others will stand on. She is planting seeds that she may never see harvested in her lifetime. But still, she builds. One of the most powerful and overlooked traits of a smart woman is her ability to say no. In a world that applauds yes, yes to every opportunity, every invitation, every demand, a wise woman knows that every yes comes with a cost. Saying yes to everything means saying no to something else, often something far more important. The smart woman is not afraid to disappoint others if it means remaining faithful to her purpose. She has learned that no is not a weakness, it is a form of strength. It is not rejection, it is redirection. It is not selfishness, it is stewardship. She understands that her time, her energy, and her peace are not infinite. They must be protected, not exploited. She does not stretch herself thin to meet every expectation laid upon her. She doesn't live under the tyranny of always being available, always saying yes, always showing up for everything and everyone at the expense of her well-being. Her no is not cold, it is clear, it is thoughtful, it is prayerful, and it is powerful. This woman knows that boundaries are not barriers, they are bridges to better living. She sets them not to push people away, but to keep the right things in and the wrong things out. Her no guards her purpose. Her no protects her priorities. Her no makes room for the things that truly matter: her faith, her family, her calling, her rest. She does not feel obligated to explain or apologize for every decision. She has traded people-pleasing for purpose living. The pressure to be everything to everyone is loud. The fear of missing out is real. The temptation to overcommit in order to be liked, praised, or accepted is constant. But the smart woman has grown beyond that. She has learned that being busy is not the same as being fruitful. She has realized that doing more does not always mean becoming more. And so she practices the sacred discipline of refusal, not out of pride, but out of principle. She does not sign up for what God did not assign. Saying no gives her room to say yes to what truly aligns with her vision. It creates space for intentional living. It frees her from the bondage of burnout. When someone asks for more than she can give, she doesn't respond with guilt, she responds with grace and wisdom. She knows her limits, and she respects them. She knows that the weight of too many yeses can crush the joy out of even the most beautiful seasons. So she carries only what she is called to carry, not what others expect her to. Her no is also a defense against manipulation. She does not allow herself to be guilt-tripped, flattered, or pressured into commitments that compromise her values. She listens to the voice of the Spirit more than the voices of the crowd. She trusts that saying no to man may sometimes be necessary to stay obedient to God, and that no, though it may be misunderstood in the moment, is often what keeps her life from drifting into chaos. She has learned that every open door is not a divine invitation. Every opportunity is not her responsibility. She does not chase everything that glitters because she knows that not all that glitters is gold. Some things are distractions dressed as blessings. Some paths are detours disguised as dreams. So she seeks discernment, not just direction. She prays before she commits. She pauses before she answers. She is deliberate with her decisions, not reactive. In today's world, it's all too easy to be distracted by the pursuit of likes, followers, and temporary validation. Social media has turned many lives into performances, where the goal is not to live authentically, but to be seen, heard, and admired. But the smart woman understands that living for likes is not the same as living for purpose. She knows that the applause of the crowd is fleeting, but the impact of a life well lived has lasting effects. While the world may chase after momentary recognition, she focuses on something far more enduring: legacy. Legacy is about what remains after you're gone. Zacchaeus the chief. It's about what you leave behind in the hearts of those you've touched and the work you've done that endures beyond your lifetime. The smart woman understands that her worth is not determined by the number of likes on a post or the accolades she receives today. Instead, she lives with the understanding that her life is part of something larger, a purpose that will outlive her, a story that will be carried on in the lives of others. Living for legacy means making decisions that align with long-term impact rather than short-term gratification. A smart woman doesn't chase after every new trend or quick success. She asks herself, how will this choice affect my children, my community, my world? She doesn't want to be remembered for being famous or admired in the moment. She wants to be remembered for her integrity, her kindness, and her faithfulness. It's the kind of remembrance that doesn't fade when the spotlight moves on. She is not deterred by the temporary highs of public praise. Instead, she is focused on building something meaningful. She invests her time and energy into relationships that matter, into causes that endure, and into actions that reflect her values. Whether it's in her family, her work, or her community, she chooses to pour her life into things that will stand the test of time. The influence of her life extends beyond the immediate moment because she lives with an awareness that every day is an opportunity to leave a lasting mark. A smart woman is not concerned with impressing others for the sake of validation. She is concerned with impressing upon others the values she holds dear. She wants to teach, to inspire, and to equip those around her to live meaningful lives too. The legacy she leaves is not just in her words, but in her actions, in the love she gives, the wisdom she shares, and the example she sets. She understands that a life well lived is one that inspires others to live with purpose as well. Living for legacy requires sacrifice. It requires her to sometimes say no to things that seem attractive in the moment, to give up fleeting pleasures for enduring impact. It asks her to prioritize what matters most, even when it is not the easiest or most popular choice. But a smart woman does not see this as a burden. She sees it as a privilege. She knows that every investment in what matters will pay dividends, not just for herself, but for generations to come. Her legacy is not a personal achievement. It is the inheritance she leaves behind. It's the children who grow up knowing they are loved, the friends who feel supported, the colleagues who see her work ethic and integrity, and the community that benefits from her contributions. She lives in such a way that others will remember her not for the things she amassed or the titles she held, but for the way she made them feel, for the lives she impacted, and for the values she instilled. The smart woman lives with eternity in view. She understands that her life is a fleeting moment in the grand scope of time, but the difference she makes can last forever. She doesn't chase after what is seen and celebrated today. She invests in what will be remembered for generations to come. Her life is a seed planted, not just for her own benefit, for the benefit of those who will come after her.